Before I start for proper, I'm going to issue my first of two promises. I have 10 minutes on the agenda, madam, 10 minutes. But in return for your attention, and in the interest of brevity, which all good soldiers should strive for, in return for your attention, I promise to do this in just 7. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I offer my special thanks to General Musa for personally inviting me and my colleague, Helen Doyley, to present on the importance and significance of sports recovery and the power of the Invictus movement. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight the legacy that General Musa is establishing here in Nigeria as a result of his championing the Invictus movement and developing sports recovery on behalf of his troops. We recognize and acknowledge the gravitas of this event, proven by the concentration of so many senior figures, decision makers, and leaders who have traveled so far to be here today. My name is David Wiseman. I served as an infantry officer in the British Army and had the honor of commanding soldiers in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, my career was cut short after I was shot in the chest during a firefight with the Taliban in 2009. I carry the round in my chest today. It's rattling around in there somewhere. Engaging in sport and adventurous challenge was key to my own recovery. Post-injury, I successfully climbed some of the world's highest mountains and swam competitively at an international level. These experiences taught me the power of sport as a catalyst for successful rehabilitation, in rediscovering passion for living after life-changing injuries, in realizing potential to do more, to move into a career after the military, and in creating a new identity that wasn't bound to or defined by wounds, limitations, or the scarring experiences that I'm sure many of us in this room share. Since leaving the army, I have dedicated my life to helping others achieve this success. I now serve on the senior leadership team of the Invictus Games Foundation. So what is this Invictus movement? The Invictus movement started in 2014 with the inaugural Invictus Games in London, started by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, who continues to lead the movement today. The Invictus Games has been repeated every 2 years in cities around the world, with hundreds of injured personnel gathering from 25 nations to compete across a range of adaptive sports. It's an incredible public spectacle, with world leaders supporting in the stands alongside competitors, friends, and families, plus tens of thousands from the general public, all whilst being broadcast to millions around the world. The Invictus Games are yet to be held in Africa. It is our genuine hope that they will do someday soon. Between and beyond the Games, the Invictus Games Foundation works hard as the world's leading NGO supporting wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans through sport and adventurous challenge. As proven by my presence here today and by the incredible work that's taking place here in Nigeria, we operate at the political level to catalyze systemic change across a growing international movement, focusing on where the need is great, whilst maintaining support for the community we have built over the past decade. The establishment of sports recovery is not just the right thing to do, based on the enhanced recovery and rehabilitation outcomes that result from engaging in sports recovery activity. It is also a clear demonstration that leaders care for their troops. Empathy for troops, especially those who become injured, is key to the moral component of fighting power. A soldier who feels that he will be looked after and respected should he become injured is easier to recruit, easier to retain, and will work and will fight harder for his commanders. Over his tenure, and in partnership with the Invictus Games Foundation and delivery partner Africa Unconquered, General Musa has championed the development of sports recovery here in Nigeria. A series of events that captured the world's attention, initially when Nigerian service personnel secured multiple medals at 2 Invictus Games. Secondly, when Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, visited Nigeria just last year to spend time with and honour the armed forces community. And most recently, when General Musa and the Right Honourable Mr. Abu Bakr broke ground on the new Armed Forces Invictus Centre to support the rehabilitation of wounded personnel here in Abuja. General Musa is building a tremendous legacy for his time as CDS and setting conditions for future leaders to build upon it. It has been a personal and professional highlight in my career, the great work taken place here in Nigeria. But the work is not complete. Concerning the Invictus movement, Nigeria stands alone on the continent of Africa. And I hope that here, this week, we can change that. When we think about the need, I drew inspiration from Professor Gambari's speech earlier. 1,000 insurgent groups here on the continent of Africa. And he set the challenge that this should not be a talking shop. Well, I offer you, ladies and gentlemen, something very practical that we can take away from this week. My colleague and fellow member of the senior leadership team, Helen Doyley, and I invite you, the most powerful military men on the continent of Africa, drawing from the spirit and ethos of this conference. I stand here with an offer of friendship and collaboration, an open invitation for every African nation to join the Invictus movement. We ask for nothing in return, just a simple pledge to commit to supporting men and women in uniform by establishing and developing sports recovery. The call to action is for the distinguished leaders gathered here is to find me or Helen this week and express your nation's interest in joining the Invictus movement. Consider this perhaps the first stage in building upon Nigeria's example, the first step to sending a national team to the Invictus Games and to be celebrated the world over. But deeper than this, it's an opportunity to be a champion of sports recovery, a champion for the welfare of your men and women in uniform, whom it is always an honor for true leaders to serve. Finally, I promise, finally. And this is my second promise. I made you that first one right at the start. This is my second promise. I promise you, reference that bullet that's still in my chest. If you come and talk to me about the Invictus movement anytime this week, I will show you the X-ray and I will let you into the secret whether or not I set off airport security when I go through the gates. Thank you very much.